Yo, what's up? What's going on? What's good, everybody? That's right, the Boston's getting in live for the 2023 episode of the Boxing Source Radio Show. We are, still following up from what happened, yesterday. Of course, the WBC Super Lightweight title defended, and we pretty much seen a dominant performance from Devin the Dream Haney over Regis Prograis to win that WBC title and to stay undefeated. What is he now? 31-0 now after scoring a knockdown, in the third round over Regis Prograis and just, absolutely shutting out Prograis here. And, that was the thing that we saw over the course of 12 rounds from Devin Haney against Regis Prograis in a fight that some thought where Regis Prograis was a top-rated fighter in the 140-pound division. Pretty much could have been number 2 or number 3 or whatever it was, depending on who you had there at the top. You could have Teofimo Lopez as the number 1 guy with his win over Josh Taylor. And then you could have Regis Prograis, or, you could have, some other folks up there at number 2. You could have Subriel Matias, number 2, maybe, probably a couple of other folks. Maybe you could have Josh Taylor still floating around there, around the top of the 140-pound division. But, Regis Prograis, being a 2-time super lightweight champion, had his stoppage over Jose Zepeda in the 11th round at this time last year, and then fought Danielito Zorita after that. New Orleans fight against Devin Haney. And with Devin Haney, he was coming off of being at 135, winning the undisputed title at 135, with his win over George Kambosos Jr., was able to defend it in a rematch, and then also defend it once again with his win over Vasily Lomachenko. So he was coming off the win over Vasily Lomachenko and then saying, hey, I'm going to move up to 140 and I'm going to challenge Regis Prograis for that WBC title at 140. And, he just went there and, put out a, pretty much a boxing clinic, a boxing clinic there over Prograis. Looked like it was going to be someone that, I thought would have been able to perform much better here in this particular. I thought that, I don't know if folks, were watching the other day, but, said that, I had felt like Regis Prograis would have been able to, do enough to make Haney uncomfortable over the course of the tour. Would have been able to pull it out over Devin Haney, but there was just nothing that he could do in this particular fight. Had no answers to the activity. Devin Haney was very comfortable throughout the entire fight, able to control the pace of the fight, control the amount of activity, over the course of this bout, and that was the thing, man. I mean, I couldn't even believe it. You even had, both of these guys, according to, punch statistics, both of them were pretty much throwing the same amount of punches over the course of 12 rounds. But Regis Prograis, as some know, only landed 36 of the punches that he threw with a less than 10% connect percentage, and only 5 total jabs landed. That's crazy. Now, folks are saying that, hey, that was like an even lower punch statistic than Edwin De Los Santos in his fight against Shakur Stevenson. But De Los Santos threw less punches than Regis Prograis, and even Shakur Stevenson threw even less punches than that. So that was just something there where I just said, you know what, man, you got to give props for Devin Haney for putting up that type of performance there in that type of atmosphere. It was there on his, home, being in San Francisco, of course, him and Las Vegas, but Earth, area was there in Oakland, and so he wanted to have a fight there in that area, serve the fans there that were in that area, right? And he just gave himself a great. He just put out a great. He was able to put out a great performance there in this particular matchup against Regis Prograis. And like I was saying, man, I mean, Regis Prograis, he only had one loss up to that particular point. Had the very close loss to Josh Taylor, in that World Boxing Super Series, where it was a very close fight. Some people may have thought that Regis Prograis may have pulled that one out, but he ended up falling short there. But in this particular instance, Regis Prograis just did not have any type of answer there for Devin Haney in this bout. And, Devin Haney kind of like showed the level that he was on in comparison to Regis Prograis. And it was just crazy. I felt like, with Haney just being able to, control the pace of the fight there, he was able to, just outland let's see. If we're back, it looks like he had like some type of issues here and there, man. I don't know what's going on, man. I think something's been tripping there with the stream joint. You know, was having issues with this thing here before. Earlier last week. Now it looks like same thing was going on this week, man. I'm not sure what's going on, man. But I tell you that. Tell you this though, they better have this thing fixed. They better have this thing fixed. Can't have this thing be tripping. Definitely can't have this thing be tripping here. You know what I'm saying? While doing this, it's like something where I kind of say like, hey man, we trying to talk this boxing here. Shout out to everyone that's listening live. But we wanted to, like I said, talk a little bit more about what went down between Devin Haney and Regis Prograis. And, like I said, there in the topic, like with that performance from Devin Haney, what is he like a top 5 pound for pound fighter in the sport? Now, know that he was talking about, that in the in the post-fight press conference there, along with his father and trainer, Bill Haney. And Bill Haney did have something to say in reference to, Devin Haney, trying to make a case for him being the number one pound for pound fighter, and that, those who many consider to be the number one pound for pound fighter, he had a comment about, him as well. But in a sense, going back to the fight itself, folks brought up the thing in reference to the punch stats for this fight, and that Regis Prograis landed less punches than Edwin De Los Santos in his bout against Shakur Stevenson. But there was a lot of criticism about that particular fight, about the effort of Edwin De Los Santos. But just to be honest, I had a lot to say about the effort of Edwin De Los Santos and the effort of Shakur Stevenson in that fight. So I can't really put this fight here from Devin Haney and Regis Prograis in the same light as Shakur Stevenson versus Edwin De Los Santos. We got, a good amount of more action from this fight yesterday than we did last month in that Stevenson De Los Santos fight. So, gotta, definitely give Devin Haney the props for him to dominate, someone in Regis Prograis, who, like I was mentioning before, was one of those top three guys at the 140-pound division, and that, many kind of considered, one of the higher profile fighters at 140 over the course of the past few years. You've had him up there. You've had, Josh Taylor up there. You've had Jose Carlos Ramirez up there around the top. A few other guys up performing at 140. But we know who the current crop is right now at 140 with Subriel Matias, with Teofimo Lopez. You did have Rolly Romero win the world title. You had Ryan Garcia that recently had a bout that was above 140 pounds. Here you had this thing with Devin Haney going up against Regis Prograis, and now with the win that Devin Haney has, with him being a two-division world champion, this kind of puts Devin Haney among the top there in that 140-pound division. You only have, with the exception of Teofimo Lopez, who's pretty much a lineal champion at 140. Now Devin Haney is like right up there, So, with this performance, like I was saying before, is he one of those top 5 pound for pound fighters in the sport? In the boxingsource.net and the pound for pound, I will update it tomorrow. But up to this point, I had Devin Haney rated at number 6 pound for pound. I had, Terrence Crawford number 1. I had, Naoya Inoue number 2. Alexander Usyk number 3. Canelo Alvarez number 4. Tank Davis number 5. And Devin Haney at number 6. But with this performance, we might see a little bit of a change there in that list. Shout out to Juice in the building, checking in. Great supporter of this channel here. He says salute to the chat. Yeah, we had a great weekend of boxing. Like I said there with Devin Haney's performance over Regis Prograis, man, he kind of stood out, as far as his overall performance. Some could consider him as the fighter of the year this year, with this win over Vasily Lomachenko and then this win here over Regis Prograis, that he could be considered as fighter of the year. There's other contenders out there, like Naoya Inoue, has this win over Stephen Fulton, does have a fight coming up against Marlon Tapales for the undisputed title. They're at 122 pounds. Some people consider, Terrence Crawford up there, that could be potential fighter of the year. There might be, other, contenders, you know what I'm saying? So now we got to see, what happens here for the rest of the year on that front. But, for Devin Haney to, make this particular performance here, he kind of stands out. And now a lot of people are interested in seeing what happens next with Devin Haney. Now, he has won a world title here at 140, and the thing about it is, just going real quick, the thing about it is, and this was mentioned, what about a possibility of fighting Tank Davis? And, he said, during that press conference, he said, Tank don't want to fight me. He said if he, really wanted to fight me, then he, would have made it to, he would have made it happen. That there wasn't like anything as far as like any suggestion of having that fight take place, which I'm not all too sure about. I don't know. We've had, and I don't know if y'all have caught up, but we've had a couple of interviews in reference to the team of Tank Davis that has happened. We, of course, you have the channel there, Rise Podcast, with those at Upton Gym, with Coach Squeeze and Coach Senior. You have, of course, Coach Kenny Ellis, right? And you have Coach Calvin Ford, and they have talked about what has happened with Devin Haney in his performance against Regis Prograis. But, outside of that, as far as like Tank fighting them, they'll make their suggestions. They have their comments. So y'all have to go on there and catch up with that. Big ups to Tommy Bundles in the building. He says he has Bud, Inoue, Usyk, Canelo, and Devin as top 5 pound for pound. Hey, that could be very similar to what I will have listed up on tomorrow in reference to the top 5 pound for pound fighters there. Like I said, that order, that top 4 was the same thing that I have as the top 4. So with that being said, Devin Haney having these performances, like I said, over the past few years, having the 2 wins over George Kambosos, having a win over Vasyl Lomachenko, having this win, over Regis Prograis, that kind of like has him stand out. Yeah, he's had his fights against Yuriorkis Gamboa and Jojo Diaz and Jorge Linares, among other fighters. But he says like those fights at that level with him being 24 now 25 years old. Now he's been an undisputed champion at 135, and he now has a world title here at 140. So now what's next out there? Like I said, there's been suggestions. Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia, Teofimo Lopez. We'll see. Yes, Chow here. He says, Teo and Devin both beat Lomachenko. They beat 2 of the top 3 guys at 140 and Taylor and Regis in dominant performances. That's a fight, but it probably won't happen. And he also says that Gary Antoine Russell is a dark horse. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Thing about it is, though, Gary Antoine Russell, had his, win over Kent Cruz in the MGM National Harbor earlier this year. He's, recovering from an injury still, and we got to see what's going to be put up for him next. We have to see if he's going to be a viable contender for a world title at 140. We don't know what's next for him. Some have pretty much said that eventually he could face Subriel Matias for that IBF title. But outside of that, we'll have to see. But after, getting that quick win over Kent Cruz, now we got to see what's going to be next for Gary Antoine Russell there at 140 pounds. Like I said, there's a good amount of contenders there at 140, that are out there that could challenge for the world title. You know what I mean? We're supposed to, have something with an eliminator bout with O'Hara Davies there that's supposed to be fighting. That was supposed to be last week, but O'Hara Davies had that little issue with his visa, so he couldn't, fight Ismael Barroso at that point. So now it's pushed back to what it's going to be January, I think it is, right? But with that being said, that's supposed to be for the WBA, right? So that frees up Rolly Romero, and Rolly Romero could potentially face Ryan Garcia. Who knows? But with that being said, you still have Teofimo Lopez, as mentioned by Tommy. That was brought up as far as like him who would be potentially next for Teofimo Lopez. He was offered a fight with Ryan Garcia. He turned it down. Now it looks like he's going to fight during Super Bowl week against Jose Ramirez. They're trying to put him there on a Thursday night, just like the whole thing with Shakur Stevenson. But it would be against Jose Ramirez. So you could see an announcement here within the next few weeks or so for Teofimo Lopez to fight Jose Carlos Ramirez on that Thursday before the Super Bowl was supposed to take place in Las Vegas, right? So there's that. But back to the whole thing with Devin Haney, man. I felt like going into the fight, I thought that Regis Prograis would have been able to have the experience to deal with the advantages that Devin Haney had in reference to his height and his reach, and being a southpaw, that it would give Devin Haney troubles. He had issues with southpaws before, not just with Vasyl Lomachenko, right? So I kind of like thought that it would have been something to the point where Regis Prograis would have been able to try to, neutralize the jab from Devin Haney and kind of get himself to work on the inside. And he wasn't able to do that. It was almost like the foot positioning and the foot movement from Devin Haney kind of kept him within a good enough distance to where Regis Prograis just couldn't really take advantage of it. And that's what we saw over the course of this fight. And even when he was able to get close, Devin Haney was able to hit him. I think what was it, right hand that knocked down Regis Prograis. And after that, he just really didn't take that much risk out there, man. He didn't really take that much risk, And so it was like Regis didn't look like he was going for it all, especially around the second half of the fight. It almost seemed like he was, discouraged, disappointed, and looked like he was just trying to get through the fight. And you've seen in his corner that his corner was trying to imply him to do different things to try to, spin around, try to get to the, opposite side or the offside of Devin Haney, try to take advantage of that. And you didn't see that. You didn't see that out of Regis Prograis. He just looked like he was just there, just to go through those rounds, get through those particular rounds, and make sure that he didn't get knocked out. And there were almost times where, in the 10th round, where you seen where Devin Haney like stunned him or had him stumbling a little bit, where he almost got another knockdown and could have stopped him. But Devin Haney wasn't able to do that. But Regis Prograis wasn't very engaging in those last few rounds. And it just, you just had Devin Haney coasting through those last few rounds there, in order to, get the win, basically. The only thing was with Regis Prograis was the last round where he was, throwing twice as many punches as Devin Haney, according to CompuBox, but only landed 4 punches in the 12th round. He only landed 4 punches in the 12th round. And, like I was mentioning before, Regis Prograis landed only 5 jabs over the course of 12 rounds, according to CompuBox. That is a crazy stat. That was a crazy stat. Tommy says, Regis looked like someone who was going to turn 35 in January. His foot speed and lack of volume and combinations made it easy work for Devin. Yeah, it made it easy work for him, man. I just felt like, his activity was just not quite there. And if it was just like he wasn't sharp with his punches. You seen that Devin Haney was very sharp with his punches in his attack, and that he was there to send a message early. And that's what he ended up doing, after, the first couple of rounds. Then when he scored that knockdown, it was just more about, him keeping that distance away from Regis Prograis. And Regis Prograis just didn't have an answer, that was the thing with Lomachenko in the comparison. He was able to use his footwork to get to the inside and also use his hands too. The thing with Lomachenko, he was able to use his hands, give different looks and also pull off the jab, to cut off Devin's jab. The thing was that Devin had made the adjustment at times to score by, throwing the jab. And while he didn't score with the jab, he would just go low and go to the body. So he scored multiple times to the body on Vasyl Lomachenko to, get the rounds pretty much in the middle part of the fight. And that was pretty much the key to that fight was him, adjusting to that and just, being able to go to the inside because he just felt like if he was throwing, then Lomachenko wouldn't necessarily throw unless, unless Lomachenko had the confidence to counter off of that. And you really didn't see it that much until the second half of the fight with Lomachenko, And yeah, this is also key too. When they did, we were able to clinch. Devin, bullied Regis. He's a big, strong dude. Yeah, I mean the thing with Devin Haney was like, and I like said this, with Devin Haney, it wasn't 3 years ago. It was 4 years ago. With the Zohar Abdullayev fight, right? Even at that particular point, seeing this frame then, I felt like he didn't really have that much time left at 135 and that he could go up to 140 and 147 at that point. You know what I'm saying? But he was able to stick to that. He was able to stick to it, do his thing at 135, win the world title first, and then end up being the undisputed champion at 135. Shout out to Tommy being a part sponsor of the show today with the super sticker, man. Shout out to you, man, for supporting here on the Boxing Source. We appreciate the support here at the Boxing Source. But yeah, going back to that thing there in 2019, man. I don't know if it's still in the archives, but you could go back in this channel and you could see when I had posed that question to Devin Haney about doing what he could do here. I mean, or at least at 135 at first before moving up to 140 and 147. And I said, well, he said he still had some things to do. And at that particular point, he was chasing Lomachenko then. And you see how long it took for him to finally have that fight with Lomachenko, and he was able to, do what he had to do in order to win that fight. And so at this point, he has to win over Lomachenko. Now he has to win over Regis Prograis, and he could be, potentially the fighter of the year, with those two wins. Those are two big wins. They said that, maybe that Haney Lomachenko was a 50-50 fight. The thing here with Prograis, Prograis was a, top rated fighter there at 140. But the thing was going into this fight, I was still surprised at this at the point was that, Devin was a 4-1 favorite going into the fight. So maybe they just felt like, hey, this was a time for him to, fully grow into or fully get into 140, that he would have been much more comfortable there 140 pounds, that he didn't really have to struggle to try to get down to 140. But it looked like, what was it in that weigh-in, not the ceremonial weigh-in that was Friday, but the one that was on Friday morning, that he still had to do a little bit to get to 140 pounds. So maybe he's right as far as like saying, hey, maybe I have only 1 or 2 fights left at 140 and then I'm going up to 147. We'll see. Shout out to Ruben Gutierrez in the building. He says, in 2024, I'd like to see Teofimo Lopez fight Ryan Garcia. I'd like to see Devin Haney fight Tank Davis in 140 as well. Yeah, I think he just joined in here, Ruben. I did talk about the thing there with Teofimo Lopez and Ryan Garcia. This is, through War Week Radio Network. This was mentioned last week, that you could go to War Week Radio Network. This was, when I was on there, with Coach Ronnie Shields, Joseph here in the War Week Radio Network had mentioned the thing there with Teofimo Lopez, right? That Teofimo Lopez, did mention a thing there about $1.5 million. But, they said that the people within Top Rank had offered, 1.5 plus, and then a majority of the pay-per-view share. And Teofimo Lopez turned it down in reference to a potential fight with Ryan Garcia. So that's why I mentioned earlier that Teofimo Lopez looks like he's going to be facing, Juan Carlos Ramirez, as reported on ESPN yesterday. So that was the That was the thing there, man. So you'll probably see Teofimo Lopez and Jose Ramirez. It's going to be on that Thursday of Super Bowl weekend instead of Teofimo Lopez versus Ryan Garcia in Las Vegas. That would have been huge, especially during that Super Bowl week. It's Super Bowl week, Las Vegas. People are going to be there anyway. There are going to be a lot of sport fans out there. You don't have to necessarily, do what you did with the whole Shakur Stevenson versus Edwin De Los Santos, where that was pretty much a giveaway. Like, okay, you want this state, you want to put a fight there, cool, do that. But you would have Teofimo Lopez in a big fight defending the title against Ryan Garcia. But Teofimo Lopez pretty much said no on that. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Modern King Boxing in the building, evening with you. Like I was saying, man, I mean, going back to the thing with Devin Haney, man, great performance by Devin Haney over Regis Prograis. He was, like I said, he was talking a lot of stuff in the post-fight press conference, man. First off, with the overall performance, pretty much dominant over Regis Prograis. Number two, having the consideration of being the, not just top 5 pound for pound, but like his father and trainer, Bill Haney said, number 1 pound for pound. He said, hey, you had, Terrence Crawford out there, but he said, like, hey, Terrence Crawford did that against a weight-drained Errol Spence. so that was the thing, man. He said that Terrence Crawford did that against a guy at Errol Spence that was supposed to be fighting at 154. But, hey, Devin Haney said, hey, maybe y'all should consider me as a top pound for pound fighter. Yep, he did drop Regis Prograis in that 3rd round. Got a guest here joining on here with me to talk about the fight too, man. The Boxing Academic is in the building. Shout out to the Boxing Academic. What's happening with you?
What's going on, JR? How you doing today?
All good, man. Just like I said, going off of what happened there with Devin Haney and Regis Prograis, dominant performance by Devin Haney. What I was hoping that, I hope I have my guy on here, Tip, because he would be really good to talk about the comparison of this fight with the Shakur Stevenson fight. I gotta see if I can find him, man. But what you think about Devin Haney's performance?
There's a comparison?
No, I mean, remember when Tip came on the show when we had the thing for the Shakur Stevenson Edwin De Los Santos fight, and he tried to make a case for Edwin De Los Santos winning the fight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna answer your question. I don't connect with that very well. I'm gonna answer your question. I mean, it didn't tell me anything that I didn't already know. I strongly believe that any remnants from that old 140-pound division, those crop of fighters weren't that good when you compare them to higher level fighters. And whether it is they are good at certain things, but even with Josh Taylor, we saw when he fought Tio, he was limited. But Josh Taylor against all those other people looked pretty good, right? Like in that time frame when he was undisputed, he looked very good. And the thing is, you cannot take that away from him. And when I say this comment, I'm not trying to take it away from him. However, it ain't far away from Terrence Crawford winning that belt against Ndongo. It just, the crop of people were not that good. And yes, he had a great opportunity. Tio's win was 10 times better. Yeah. Just off of what he did. But again, it was better. I can't agree with you. It was better off of what's his name's body of work. But again, his body of work was built on something that's not sand, but is not solid concrete. It was built on something in between. It wasn't sand, but it wasn't concrete. It ain't no strong foundation that you can say his undisputed run, like even people who were not undisputed, Timothy Bradley or what's the Puerto Rican dude name? Danny Garcia. Both of their runs was better, but they just didn't have no, they didn't have no 4 belts that they could wrap around their waist. That's the only difference, that politics allowed for certain people to get the opportunity. And again, I'm not taking anything away from that. All I'm simply saying is that those crop of 140-pound fighters are limited. They're good, but they ain't next level. They ain't no, world class. And simply all Devin Haney really had to do was control distance and use his jab. Control distance, use jab, move, make what's his name reset. Control distance, use jab, make what's his name reset. Oh, every now and then he'll throw a right hand. And the fact that he could throw the right hand and Regis couldn't get away from it.
Yeah.
It's just like it wasn't no world breaking game plan. It was just a different class of fighter. It's no different than I love Chad Dawson. I'm just gonna say that Chad Dawson is so accomplished. You cannot take anything away from Chad Dawson. I'm saying this and I'm not saying it to say, but when he fought Andre Ward, it was the tale of two classes. You can tell a fighter who has fought 100 different styles. You can tell a fighter who has had to dig down and learn how to beat. You can tell a fighter that has different dimensions to his game, who can fight moving, who can fight on the inside. This is no different. This is no different. It was the tale of two classes. It's what people say. It's levels to this. It is levels, and that's right. Exactly what it was. It was just Devin Haney is on a different level. Now, that's a different thing when you talk about Shakur. That's a different thing when you talk about Gervonta Davis, because Shakur, he might be on a different level, but who knows, right? That's something that we have to see. But what I do know is that Devin Haney, when he is challenged, he raises his level. He looked strong yesterday. He was strong. He didn't just look strong, he was strong. And he fought a simple game plan. And what's his name was just so limited that he couldn't do nothing about it. He couldn't even cut the damn ring off.
Right. But he
couldn't even cut the ring off.
He couldn't cut the ring off. He couldn't move off to the side or
couldn't move to the side, couldn't avoid a hit.
Yeah.
What you said?
Yeah, like I said, like move away from Haney's strong side or nothing like that. He just,
just was there.
Linear, was like forward, backward, pretty much. That was it.
And so I'm gonna give him the compliment sandwich here. You got to give it up to him, because he could have quit. He could have said, I don't want to do this no more, like we've seen other fighters do who were outclassed. He could have quit, but he didn't quit. He didn't have a chance, but at least he didn't quit. I wouldn't have been mad if they'd have stopped the fight, because why was it worth him to take more? I mean, I don't think he got no concussion in there. I ain't saying that, but I'm just saying in terms of him continuing to fight, was it worth him to fight 12 rounds? Could they have stopped it at round 10? Could they have stopped it at round 9? He ain't had no chance, but I mean, he still stuck through.
His trainers was like, "Hey, man, I need to see something out of you, or I might, just fold it in for you,
And what he do? What he do after that?
Pretty much not that much.
Nothing.
Other than the last round, maybe. But even looking at it live, you couldn't really notice that he threw twice as many punches as Devin Haney did in the 12th round. To go, like someone said, like he didn't go for broke. He just walked and followed, doing literally nothing. But I just felt like he just didn't have any type of effect on Devin Haney in this particular fight, man. So it was just he just laid it. He laid a big egg in this one, talking all the stuff that he was talking about, like, oh, I'm gonna hurt this man, I'm gonna hurt this boy, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and just to give the effort. So I could see how some people kind of react to Regis Prograis in his performance, because leading into this, he's saying like, man, you done bit more than you could chew, and all this type of stuff, going straight for me, and he just didn't really give that effort. Like he just had like one, it almost seemed like he had one strategy, and after that strategy was out the window, he didn't do nothing else, so there was that. But also your point coming in reference to the 140-pound division and the previous quote unquote era, which had Regis Prograis, which had, Josh Taylor, which had, Jose Ramirez, and maybe Dennis Berinchik and some other fighters that you can name, right? Now you've seen that, like you said, Teofimo Lopez flat out classed Josh Taylor. You've seen Devin Haney here outclass Regis Prograis. And so now it's like, did that era of fighters at 140 pounds, was that like a down era? Was that something where they weren't all that good?
Man, you asking that question like you don't know the answer. You know the answer. You just being political. I ain't gonna push and say I ain't gonna push, but we all know you know the answer to that question. I appreciate your candidness.
Listen. All I gotta say is this, right? Josh Taylor's fight before fighting Teofimo Lopez, I felt like he lost that fight. So that should give you all you need to know. And the
crop of fighters wasn't that good.
Yeah, there you go.
And that's fine. I mean, shoot, he what you cannot take away though is his undisputed. You cannot take that away from him. No matter if he was greater or just good, he's probably a C plus, maybe. He probably a C plus. He is not a B. Probably a C plus, maybe a B minus. Let me not disrespect him. Maybe a C plus B minus, somewhere around there. But an undisputed fighter who's a C plus B minor, a fighter who's a C plus B minor who gets an undisputed belt, something good had to happen. Some politics had to go your way. It was a downtime. Something good happened. Props to him.
Mm-hmm. So I was like, man. I was like, yo, I'll see, what's going on with all that. But I mean, it was, this thing here, like overall, when it came to 140-pound division, like I said, man, if you got Josh Taylor that couldn't, really get through his previous fight before Teofimo Lopez, and then Teofimo Lopez had pretty much schooled him, then, that had to, tell you what the state of the 140-pound division was. You know what I'm saying? So there was that. But also, like, seeing this from Devin Haney to pretty much dominate Regis Prograis, right? That was just crazy. Some people, like you were saying in the chat, like it showed, like maybe it said that, hey, maybe it showed how the age of Regis Prograis in this fight, but we'll see. But I have to add in someone else on here. Pretty much they requested to see if he could come on here because I wanted to see what he had in reference to the comparison of another fight that he was able to chime in on. So Tip's in the building, man. What's going on, Tip?
JB, man.
Yo, what's happening, man?
What's going on, man? Oh God.
Yeah, man. What's up?
Man, this fight. I said it weeks prior going into the fight that Devin Haney was going to wash Regis Prograis. And I told people prior to Regis' last fight that Regis lost his last fight and nothing was going to change going into this fight because it's just stylistically wrong for Regis to be fighting this type of fighter. It was all bad for him.
Word. I pretty much had messed up on that one, man. I thought Regis Prograis would have done much better than this. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you would think, right?
Yeah, exactly. But he just did not give that type of an effort, like at any point. You know what I'm saying? So that was just a bad luck by Regis, and he said giving Devin Haney props and said that he has sneaky power, like the quick power that you don't expect and all that type of stuff. But leading into the fight, he was really down, down in the ability of Devin Haney. Like he wouldn't have been able to be strong enough to do what he did, and he just pulled that off. You know what I'm saying? Uh,
Jr.
yo,
I got one pushback on you saying he didn't give enough effort. Yes, he could have tried harder. He could have, went for broke and tried to be like Ruslan Provodnikov or something like that. But the thing is, if you are outclassed and you spending enough energy just to catch up with the dude because he done reset you and he 3 feet away from you, like it looks like it's effort, but it was just the fact that the man was like what the like he was just like a shipwreck or something, it just out in the ocean somewhere, no direction, no sail. That's all it was. Yeah, he could have tried harder maybe, but when you outclass like that, sometimes it's okay. He could have tried a little bit harder, but
yeah,
it was just outclassing.
we'll see.
He
I
was
want
just
to
too
get someone
slow.
on here real quick. Let's see if we got two. We got was it Buckle Up Boxing in the building, and then we got of course MVO. Buckle Up Boxing. You were like one of the rookies up here in the boxing source. What you got in reference to this Haney fight?
What's going on, man? Hey, I don't know what's going on. They got my avatar messed up, but I'm sports prediction down in your comments.
Okay, gotcha. That's what's up, man.
Sports prediction 101. So I be doing that, right? That's what I be predicting a lot of that stuff before the fights with football, basketball, and boxing. And when I put that with the Devin Haney situation, I've been hearing y'all sitting there talking, and I had a lot of people went against me last week when I put that prediction out on the most recent show I did. I was talking about far Devin was going Devin was going to be a problem for Regis to catch up with. I seen that. I just was pre-looking at it in my mind, and I was like, I think Devin going to move around a lot. He going to shoot that jab a lot. He going to do a lot of moving, and he probably going to grab Regis a lot too. And
Word.
by the time Regis really they really get a catch on what's going on, it's going to be kind of too late, and it's going to turn around and be a decision. I didn't even think Devin would drop him. I didn't think that. I thought any kind of knockdown or knockout would come from Regis. I said I'm gonna go with Devin for the decision for the win with a decision. And that's what ended up happening. Devin for the decision.
Well, good thing you didn't. Good thing you weren't on here for the midweek report, or else you would have got me for what I had picked. Oh man, I had lost out big time, man. And we got our guy here, man, MVO with the picture of. Oh goodness, man, what's going on, MVO? Even though she lost.
What's the picture? I can't see MVO.
What's going on, guys? That's Ebony Bridges.
Yeah, Ebony Bridges.
Is it before or after the fight?
That was before the fight.
Was the only, the only part of the fight I saw, the weigh-in.
If you saw after the fight, she ain't look the same. Let me say that.
Well, I don't watch women's boxing, so I don't bother with that. But
unless it's Clarissa Shields' occasion.
All praises to Devin Haney. I do want to push back against you saying that Regis Prograis didn't give all his effort. I thought he did, and he tried so hard that he looked silly at times, stumbling into the turnbuckles. Like he was trying, he just had nothing for him. I do wonder why he changed trainers right before the fight. Mm-hmm. I was surprised Bobby Benton wasn't.
As if that shit would have mattered, MVO.
Listen, every little bit counts,
MVO, that would not have mattered when you on a different class. MVO, if you look, I can play checkers better than you. It won't matter if you get more training. when we play checkers. Not let me say dominoes. I can play dominoes better than you, NVO.
I'm in agreement. Regis just is what he was. I mean, if you just look at the history of Regis, I mean, his best win prior to Zepeda was Terry Flanagan.
And MVO, if you look at that, if you look at like he just said his history, if you look at a lot of his fights, he does that a lot. In a lot of fights, he just don't really be getting caught by. But he do a lot of that wild swinging and out of control type of stuff sometimes, forcing himself to take stuff that he think he see instead of being patient with it. He do that a lot in a lot of fights. And Devin stayed patient. Devin really took that. He took going to 140 and fighting Regis. He took that really serious. Everybody that probably talked to him and all his training, everything all the way up to the fight, told him, look, you're gonna have to go in here. You got to do it exactly how we telling you can do it, or it could turn out ugly. I'm telling you, gonna have to. You guys be patient, stay basic, stay on your bike, and keep the jab going. You're gonna have to keep him up off you. And he did exactly that. I'm not a Devin. I don't really, he not really my guy. If you want to know my 140 guys, my top guys at 140 who I think will run in division when it's all said and done would be Sabril Matias or my little guy with no belt right now, the little dark skinned shorty, Richard Hitchison. They my two top fighters at 140. I don't think Devin beat neither one of them. But I gotta give Devin his props for what I just seen him do last night.
NVO, sorry for cutting you off, brother.
No, it's okay. Finish my point.
Yeah, but I mean, but also, on the thing that Boxing Academic was talking about in reference to the previous 140-pound, quote unquote generation. I did mention those guys. Regis Prograis, lost to Devin Haney. You had Josh Taylor lose to Teofimo Lopez. These guys, Haney and Lopez, came up from 135 and eventually beat these guys who were like the top two guys. They're 140. So does that put a mark towards the 140 division during that era that they weren't all that good like Academic is mentioned?
Did they beat them or did they outclass them? That's the word. They outclassed them.
In my opinion, there is more of an asterisk on Teofimo beating Josh Taylor than it is for Devin Haney beating Regis Prograis.
Huh?
Well, yeah, explain that one. I don't get it.
Well, are we forgetting that Josh Taylor was out for an entire year before fighting Teofimo?
So?
I was about to say nobody cares. You give him an excuse.
I'm saying inactivity it plays a part in Teofimo outclassing Josh Taylor the way he did.
Okay, so what was his excuse for losing to Jack Catterall? We saw the fight.
Jack Catterall, that's just a bad performance. You're gonna have those.
Okay. So is an excuse. Everybody got excuses when they lose, but here's my thing.
There's no excuse for that. He just had a bad performance.
I look at it this way. We saw Crawford clean up. Crawford left. Those are the guys that emerged, and they got cleaned up by the elite at 135. We thought the division was weak when Crawford was there. Okay, and we thought it was weak when he left. But maybe it stayed weak. We just put these guys up because these are the guys with the belts, and we are slaves to the belts. We love
don't say we.
So
Mike been saying is weak. The whole excuse me. Boxing Academic been saying I got an alias to stick to. Been saying it's been weak the whole time.
And it's
what
like
that mean when you say we slave to the belts? Like we like the belts? Like
it's like we look at the belts as that means that they're certified. When Josh Taylor became undisputed, I saw people having him pound for pound. I never had him pound for pound, but I saw a lot of people did. And I thought Josh and Regis were very close to the point where I thought Regis had pulled out the victory over him. So when these elite guys came up to 135, they're making this previous generation look silly because this previous generation is fighting like they've never seen styles like this before. They've never seen athleticism like this before, and I think this also puts to bed, because I remember when Crawford moved up from 140, there was like, oh, well, what would happen if Crawford fought Regis. Regis is lucky Crawford didn't fight him because we would have never heard of him.
Yeah, well,
We would have
he's
never heard
very
of him.
glad. He's very lucky.
Very
Yeah,
lucky.
like it was. Yeah, that wouldn't have been a good look at all for Regis if they ran into it. You know what I'm saying?
Look,
So,
Regis lucky he ain't fight AB. I'm gonna just say that. Broner would have made.
well, the thing too with Regis was it was like even through the era that he was going through that Super Series tournament, like he wasn't really. He was still like bouncing around after that was said and done. Like he was with promoter after promoter and going through what was it? What's the other thing? Not Fight TV. What was the other joint that he was on where he had those fights? So it was
Pro Box.
No, not Pro Box. It was worse than that. What was the other thing that that was going on with it? I had
Ring
to look
City.
up. Well, I think he was on Ring City at one point. But where did he fight? Ivan Redcatch on. Let me see what that one was.
Oh, that was Triller.
Triller, yeah. He was on Triller. So he was like bouncing around with promoter going on like Triller and Fight TV and all that other type of stuff. And yeah, he was a member of Pro Bellum too. Shout out to Cam Boxing in the building. Yeah, he was on Pro Bellum as well. Like he was, really going through it as far as like trying to find a solid home there, even though he was trying to get himself back in the mix at 140. But, fighting those other guys, it just didn't really, cut it. Who was saying like what was his best win before all that? Because I know that he fought, Joel Diaz Jr. and Carl Relic too. So
Yeah, I said Terry Flanagan.
yeah, Terry Flanagan was. You felt like that was his best win. All right, gotcha. But he did also face Julius Ndongo.
Man, come on, no, JB different. All right, let's not bring up Julius Ndongo. Julius Ndongo best win is Ricky Burns. Outside of Ricky Burns, Julius Ndongo lost to everybody else, bro.
Am I wrong for thinking that this kind of invalidates the World Boxing Super Series?
Hey, Julius Ndongo did beat up Tay Jones.
No. We're not disrespecting the Bomb Squad. We're not disrespecting the Bomb Squad. We're not doing that here.
Hey, no, we ain't disrespecting them, but you gotta give them that win, though. Y'all talking about?
We're not disrespecting the Bomb Squad here.
Man, all them guys suck. Let's just call it like it is. I ain't saying they suck in the sense that they like bums. I'm just saying they're not good. They're not elite. It is what it is.
They're placeholders. They're placeholders.
That's the word. They're not elite.
They're placeholders who just happen to who just happened to fight at the right time. Josh Taylor got them belts, as I said before y'all got on, because of politics, and it was the right time. We cannot take anything away from him. Hats off to him for getting the undisputed, but that was politics in the right time. He wasn't that good. This would have been the same thing that happened, if all these other fighters would have fought him before. Hats off, but they're not good. There's a different quality.
Different quality, and when you go back to the thing there with Regis Prograis, like he was able to be a world champion, 2-time world champion, but he's not considered elite. And you go up against someone in Devin Haney, who going into the bout was a pound for pound fighter, or at least in my pound for pound list. And he just flat out said, "Hey, like you were saying, boxing academic, there's levels to this." And Devin Haney was just on a whole different level. So with that being said, like I'll re-raise the question that I have on here. It's one of the main topics, man. Would y'all consider Devin Haney as one of those top 5 pound for pound fighters? Like I said,
100%.
I had him at number 6 before this fight took place. So
he definitely should be on pound for pound list, no doubt.
I don't know. I gotta go over it because you know what I'm saying. Like you really gotta beat special fighters. You know what I'm saying. In order to be a pound for pound fighter.
You couldn't fit him in 10. You couldn't fit him in a slot of 10 pound for pound fighters right now.
His best win. His best win is a controversial win, and he didn't definitively go back and get that win again. I would have.
He doesn't have any controversial.
That's
wins.
a controversial win, bro.
You talking about Loma?
Yeah, it's a controversial win.
He won clearly You have to stop it. Listen,
I don't think he won clearly.
I know we love praising Lomachenko because he got all these foot feints and stuff, and it looks pretty.
That's
But
crazy.
Devin Haney won clearly.
That's crazy.
Clearly.
That's crazy. I'm gonna just tell you this: Devin Haney will have problems with any fighter that has athleticism.
Well, I don't think we're gonna see him and Loma again.
You're not gonna see
Loma not gonna come up to 140, and he's not gonna go back down to 135.
Well, yeah, you're not gonna see that, but you also not gonna see him fight Gary Antoine Russell anytime soon.
Is Gary Antoine Russell ready to fight?
I think Gary ain't ready to fight.
Nah, not.
He was fighting.
Won't he go ahead and unify with Matias? That'd be nice.
Because the value isn't there for Matias. And Rolly's is like a high risk, low reward. You know what I'm saying? Like Rolly's is a dumb fighter, but you know what I'm saying? He got power.
I mean, like I said, the best option is to wait it out to see what happens with Teofimo Lopez in February after his fight that's likely going to be against Jose Ramirez, and then try to get that fight in at 140, because Devin Haney said after this fight he has maybe 1 or 2 fights at best at 140 before moving up to 147. And I kind of find that it was pretty interesting that he would mention Tank Davis and that he said Tank Davis wouldn't fight him or whatever it was, and that he said that nothing kind of came about during this time, what it was like 4 months ago, whatever it is, to try to make a fight. But now here we are. You're already at 141, and then 2, you're thinking about going up to 147. And you know what Leonard Ellaby said? Tank is a 135-pound fighter. So you're not really going to see Tank Davis coming up from 135 anytime soon, if at all, for the rest of his career. So to kind of like mention Tank Davis at this point,
right.
I don't know what that was all about, unless if you really have the intentions of facing Tank Davis, and I really don't see that happening.
And he ain't going back to 135. You 100% correct. Right. He's not going back to 135 at all.
He's already given up all those other belts. And there wasn't anything as far as like him, like I said, winning against Regis Prograis that said, you could have the choice of, keeping that belt. Oh, you already given up the 135-pound belts. You already given up the WBC belt. That's why Shakur Stevenson has it now. So you went up to 140. You got a belt at 140. You're there. You're pretty much like solid at 140 right now. So those are your options: 140 or 147.
Well, apparently, the WBC didn't they just mandate Sandor Martin?
Yeah, but what does that even mean? That means
what I'm saying is he might be fighting Sandor and then Jack Catterall next. Those might be.
I don't think so. I don't think that's gonna happen. I'll be shocked if that happens. Why would Haney waste all the momentum that he gained last night?
Because it's money behind Catterall fighting in the UK.
Which is more money? You fight Catterall in the UK or fighting Ryan Garcia?
Is it more money fighting Rollies or Catterall in the UK?
What? Probably fighting Rolly, actually.
Rolly?
Y'all think so?
Yeah.
I don't know. That UK money a little bit different.
Yeah, it is different. It's fake money. It's not. It really is. Like a lot
with
of
them
these
$25 tickets.
Yeah, like come on. Like what are we doing here? Now
pay-per-views, like come on.
Who he should fight is Ryan. That should be the next fight.
That's a big fight.
There's no reason why they shouldn't fight. Ryan fought last week. Haney fought this week. They're only a week apart. Same network. Okay. They could fight in the same weight class. They could fight at 140 or 147. It wouldn't even matter.
That fight is just as bad. That's a terrible fight. That's like fighting Regis all over again. Like,
no.
MVO is interested in big events.
Exactly.
Right? And Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia would be a big event. And so you might as well have that happen, whether it's going to be at 140 or above 140, make that happen. Since we're not going to have, Ryan Garcia facing Teofimo Lopez. We don't know what the status is of Robeisy Ramirez at this particular point. So why not go ahead and go for that fight?
I don't know. My perspective is just a little bit different. I just want to see these guys in competitive fights. You know what I'm saying?
But Rolly, why Rolly?
Well,
Who
I was
said
Why
about
is
to say
who,
something
Rolly
on
in
that too.
position?
but here,
Rolly
who
shouldn't
says
even
Ryan
be in
Garcia wouldn't
position
be
right
competitive?
now.
You
I
can't
don't
tell
see
me
how
Ryan
Rolly.
Garcia versus
wouldn't
Devin
be.
Haney is a competitive fight.
It
Why
wouldn't
is
be.
Rolly? How is Rolly a champion? Rolly
hold up,
shouldn't even be in position right now.
hold up though.
Rolly?
Listen,
What would be
Ryan
what would
Garcia
be at a
fought
higher
Devin Haney
level?
many times, and
Yeah,
Ryan
right.
Garcia got the
Like,
best of him
like
in the
5 or 6
amateurs.
times. Yeah, 5 or 6 times in amateurs.
Who?
Yeah,
Who
Ryan
now?
Garcia got a winning
Ryan
record
Garcia
against
and
Devin
Haney.
Haney. What are we
You
even
know,
talking about?
But that's
so
when they were kids. This grown man stuff now. Just because
Okay,
you beat me up when I was younger, don't mean you'll beat me up when I'm grown up, man.
well, I would like to see it.
tell that to Shane Mosley after Vernon Forrest beat him up.
They said didn't Ryan Garcia get the best of Brandon Lee in the amateurs?
Okay, he'll beat
And
Brandon
I
Lee now.
guarantee you he has a tough time with Brandon Lee at this
I
point in his
guarantee
career
he would
too.
smoke Brandon Lee. Are you kidding me?
No, what I'm not saying he wouldn't be Brandon Lee, but I'm saying he have a tough time with Brandon Lee.
Bro, Brandon Lee sucks. What are you talking about?
Listen,
What?
I'm not saying that Ryan Garcia can't beat Brandon Lee.
Brandon
I'm
Lee
telling you,
sucks. He will not have a tough time with Brandon
I'm
Lee.
Who
telling
is
you where
Brandon
Ryan's
Lee?
level of skill
What
is
is
at.
Brandon?
He's going to have a tough time with Brandon Lee.
Who is
Brandon Lee
Brandon Lee?
is the Asian kid that been fighting tomato cans on Showbox. He
or
sucks.
What
or
division he fighting?
damn, what was that one where he got knocked down?
I'm
Like he
not
got
looking at
knocked down in the 3rd round of one of them fights, man. That was on
Yep.
that Showtime Championship Boxing, man.
He got
Yep.
up. He got up and won the fight though. It was a
I
fun.
don't think Ryan would take the fight because how many losses does he want to take before in this era where people says your wins are your calling card and that means everything? Does he's still marketable? We all know that, but is he
Yeah.
really gonna want to take more losses or he gonna want to fight somebody that he know he
Let
can
me
beat?
ask you a question, Mike, or boxing academic, whoever the hell you are. Um, do you think Ryan thinks he's gonna lose to Devin Haney?
Yes, I do. I think in
Nah.
the back of his mind, the same way in
Okay.
the back of Regis's mind, he had to know that what's his name was on a different level than him. Um, it will be a different fight because Ryan does have fast hands,
And Ryan's
Damn
and
right.
athletic.
Goddamn right. Ryan athletic. Ryan going to throw them
Yo, but
hands.
but
like Regis, Ryan.
he's just as stiff though. He don't move. It's no different.
He's just
What's his
as
name
big
with
as Haney, if not bigger.
It's the same thing as Ryan's footwork is uneducated. Like
uneducated?
we're just gonna
I
see
agree.
Devin Haney in there with a bunch of dudes that have uneducated footwork. Like, why do we
All right,
want to keep seeing that?
but here's the thing though. Like, didn't you suggest a fight for Devin Haney at Sandor Martin? Like, what?
I know I don't want that fight. What I'm saying is that's a fight they might take. I wouldn't doubt that they would take it because it's a common opponent with Teofimo.
Devin Haney doesn't need a belt anymore.
Nah, it's not. It's not about needing a belt. I think it's just a tune-up. It's just a
It's
fight to get
about
out the
big
way.
events. Why does he need a tune-up? He just had a tune-up last night.
Yeah, so it's just and he
So-called
did
Regis
mention like
Prograis.
he just wants big fights, and the thing about it was he was mentioning potentially Ryan Garcia and that he tried to push for Eddie Hearn to try to get that fight going or to make that fight happen. So we'll see.
The only thing I will say about that, Devin is one of the ones who is fighting, at least at the time, he's fighting decent competition, at least as it's built up at the time. Because his last few fights, I mean, he fought people who were supposed to do something. It just so happened that, I mean, Lomachenko was the only real one, but I'm just saying,
Hold up, he fought Linares. You gonna take
Linares
away from
sucks.
Linares?
Linares
That's a good fight.
sucks.
I'm
Yeah, I
saying
told him
I'm
he
saying out of
sucked
all
and
the
sat
people,
him right on
he's
them
been
hard
fighting
parts.
people.
He sat him right on that ass. I sucked him, sat him right on his ass. Yeah, Linares.
So so
Sat Devin right on that pump part.
right. And this goes back to Devin Haney's comments in the post-fight presser. Well, not just Devin Haney, but Bill Haney, because it was really Bill Haney that kind of brought it up that Devin Haney was fighting these guys, and he's the guy for the culture or anything like that. Comparing it to Tank Davis in the fighters that Tank Davis was fighting, like was that like how did y'all feel about that comment there from Bill Haney about that?
Wait, Bill
I
said
didn't care
what?
for it because
Can
I
you give
think.
me context?
Listen, I
I didn't
personally
hear it.
think
I thought you
that
did.
Ryan Garcia.
You're the one that sent me the link.
Okay, just because I
I
send you
think
something
Ryan
don't mean I
Garcia
listen
is
to
the
it all the
best
way.
guy to
What
ever
they
got
saying now?
fought.
Tell me what you said.
I think he definitely got a better resume. Devin got the better resume.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, Devin's resume of like you said, you're fighting Vasyl Lomachenko, you're fighting George Kambosos twice.
Yeah.
You're fighting these other guys. In comparison to Gervonta Tank Davis, who's fought Hector Luis Garcia, Rolly Romero, Isaac Cruz,
Jesus Saylor.
you know, like is that like at the same level or above what Devin Haney's done? Like both fighters have fought Yuriorkis Gamboa, but outside of that, how would you compare these two resumes? You know what I'm saying?
Honestly, I think their resumes are very similar. But I think highly of Ryan Garcia and I think highly of Mario Barrios. So we're probably going to differ on that. I think Ryan Garcia is probably the best guy either guy has fought. And it's just funny to me that people think that Devin Haney is just going to smoke Ryan Garcia. We'll see. I would like to
Ryan
see it.
Garcia better than Lomo. Get out of
Hell
here,
no.
MVO.
Hell no.
Get out of
Bro,
here, MVO.
listen, hold on. What's Lomachenko's best win?
Maybe Rigondeaux. I don't know.
They'd probably be rigging that.
He got a lot of good wins, so I don't know.
What's his he got a lot of good wins.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it. Rigondeaux is a natural 118 pounder who campaigned at 122, went up from 122 all the way up to 130 to fight Lomachenko. Correct or not?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So if that's his best win, that's not very good.
But Matt, you are making this a black and white thing. We don't judge fighters simply on their resume. We also judge fighters on their ability and talent as well. It's a mix of all those things.
Bro, ability and talent translates to being good fighters. Okay. Hold on. Here's what I know about Vasily Lomachenko. He lost all his biggest fights. That's what I know about him.
That's true.
Every single one of his biggest fights, he lost them. So
but
for
he
all
was
the
close
talent,
at the end, though. He was close at the end.
Yeah, all right.
That's
Close
kind
but
of
no
similar to
cigar.
Oscar De La Hoya in his career.
But guess what? When you say he lost them, that's all cool. But guess what? I always say he fought them. That's the problem I'm having with Tank right now.
No, but here's my problem with what you're saying.
Fighting.
Here's my problem with what you're saying. You're assuming that these guys that Tank fought aren't the best. All I know is Mario Barrios made a long-time welterweight champion look silly in his last fight.
True.
All I know.
You mean the one who's probably concussed and probably shouldn't be fighting many more fights? That same guy?
Oh, you must be talking about Lomachenko because Lomachenko probably shouldn't be fighting no more.
I'm talking about. I mean, I don't know. I never thought about it.
Because when you say somebody who shouldn't be fighting, I think of Vasily Lomachenko. I don't think he's that good anymore, and I don't think he was ever on that level. Because as soon as he fought someone that could match him athletically, he lost. And not only did he lose, he didn't even fight for the first 7 rounds, and he only won 1 to 3 rounds against Teofimo Lopez.
Yeah, we know. I lost.
So what are we talking about?
I know.
And then against Devin Haney, when the fight was on the line, he took the 12th round off.
He did that in both fights.
But what
both of them guys gave more.
You saying he over? His career over? He shouldn't fight no more, all because of them losses?
I'm telling you that Vasily Lomachenko is the most overrated fighter of the last generation. This guy has never won a big fight in his life.
But Matt, that doesn't take away that he's not skillful because he's still skillful. Just
Bro,
because he
listen,
may not be able to
listen.
dig
There
deep
are a
doesn't
lot
mean
of
that he's not
people.
skillful.
There are a lot of people that are skilled, but it takes more than skills to just be an elite boxer. He has great
Well, what
skills,
about
but
the
there is
people that? What
something
about
missing
everybody
where
that
he
say
can't
he
get
should
over the
never
hump.
come to
Hmm.
135? You got a lot of people that
Damn.
say he's too big for 135. I mean, he's too little for
You know why
135. He never supposed to been there.
you know why people say that? You know why
He
people
never
say
supposed
that?
to
Because
been
they
there.
want to make excuses for him. They want to make excuses for him.
So he still wouldn't have
When
been.
you
So
say
you don't
everybody,
think he
when you
would have
hold
been
on,
dominant at 130?
when you say everybody says that he's
Well,
too small, hold on. Let me ask you a question. When you say everybody says he's too small for 135, are you looking at the source of who's saying this? Because I could probably rattle off the top of my head people that say this kind of thing, and these are the same people who are the biased boxing media. These are the Michael Monteros. These are the Steve Kims. Those are the kind of people who say he's too small for 135 because they want to make excuses for their white savior. Like, let's keep it real about what's really going on here. This guy is just not that good, and he's never been that good. He's
Okay.
never been that good. If he goes into the Hall of Fame, he'll be one of the 10 worst Hall of Famers ever elected.
Matt, you know
Ever.
he's going into the Hall of Fame. So what you talking about?
But he shouldn't be. What's his best win?
I ain't saying that he should, but I'm just saying, you know how politics work. He gonna go into the Hall of Fame,
Yeah.
but you know,
Gary,
Yeah,
it is
but
what it
Gary
is.
Russell. Gary
the
Russell was
thing
a
about
good
it
win.
is,
Gary Russell was a great win.
Gary Russell wasn't Gary Russell at the time.
that was a debatable win. Debatable.
Yeah,
A
that might be
debatable
his
win.
best win
He
between them
beat the
two.
man up.
But,
Gary
but
Russell
here's
beat
but
him.
here's the
Nah,
thing
he
too.
beat Gary. He beat
Here's
Gary.
the
He
thing
beat
to it.
Gary all out.
He
Here's the
outclassed
thing
He
with
beat
Gary.
him up.
here's the thing with Lomachenko, right? Like right now, he has just 20 professional fights. 20. You know, so he could pretty much like finish his career with under 25 professional fights. Now, is that Hall of Fame worthy? I don't know.
Not when you lose all your
Get him
biggest
off the
fights.
basis of they're gonna get him off the basis of what he did as an amateur when he was
Exactly.
23, 24 years
So
old.
he'll join Laszlo Papp as one of the worst Hall of Famers ever. Congratulations.
Man, they gon'
Now, if
they
you're
gonna
using
find
fight
some
distance,
guy
how many fights? You're
that's
right. Yeah, 25 fights is a ugly little
they gonna
rough.
find some guy that's right, and then they gonna get this man another belt, and then he gonna be a 3 whatever however many time champion,
Well, the
and then
thing
that's
about
gonna be
it
why.
is, the thing is that they already are setting him up to face George Kambosos for the IBF belt at 135 next
Yeah,
year.
that's
So,
nasty.
Well, there you
That's
go.
nasty.
That's the belts that Devin just released because Devin Lott dropped all the belts. So they gotta
yeah,
let everybody fight for belts now and get all and collect all them belts.
Yeah, Bosa shouldn't even have that belt.
Shakur already got one of them. Shakur
yeah.
got one belt, and now what's the name of Kambosos or Loma gonna have another one? I would think Tank. You would think Tank would try to take one of those belts since he's
Tank
staying at
already
Shakur,
has the
135.
belt.
Shakur,
What are you talking
Shakur
Already
about?
shouldn't even have that WBC belt.
You do realize that Tank is already the WBA champion, right?
What they
Or did you
moved him
miss
to
that
the regular?
memo?
Now he's a super. Now he's a super champion now.
No, no,
He
because you
got one of
don't.
He's
the
the
belts that Devin. That's what I'm asking him. Do he got with
he is
Devin
the
one of the
he's
belts
the
Devin had?
only champion in the division.
Who
Yeah,
was the
so they
only champion at 135?
Tank.
No, he's the only WBA champion.
yeah, he's only WBA
He's
champ.
the
Like
only WBA champion. So he is the champion.
yeah,
Oh, okay. So they only got one belt now.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. He's the only champion.
So now,
yeah.
so now he a regular. He got the real belt. A real. Well, he could unify with that
He
belt.
got the real belt, but the thing is that yeah, he could have the opportunity to unify against like a Shakur Stevenson
That's what I'm
or
saying. Yeah. Can he do that? Yeah. Then all right.
yeah.
Then yeah. Then they should be putting something shit like that together. Then yeah.
Well, we'll see how that turns out because I mean I felt like Tank and Shakur would be fighting for undisputed at 135, but according to some other people, they feel like Tank and Shakur ain't fighting until 2025. And I'm like, I don't see how that's gonna be the case.
I
You
want
know
to
what I
see
mean?
Tank versus De Los Santos.
Why
I
would you
don't
want
want
to
to
see
see
that?
that. Why
Why?
would
Why
you?
Why
would
would I
you
want
hold
to see
on?
it? I feel like
Hold
De
on,
Los
hold on, hold
Santos and
on,
Tank are
hold
the
on,
best
hold on.
two
Oh,
boxers.
yeah, that's
Wait a
right. That's
minute.
right. Remember, this is the guy that said that was on here saying that when De Los Santos had a case for winning the fight against
Yeah,
Shakur Stevenson.
Why
I
would you
definitely
ever
thought he beat
why
Shakur
would you ever want to see
because
Edgar
I
De
thought
Los
he beat
Santos on
Shakur. I
TV
thought he
ever
beat
again?
Shakur.
Who gives a fuck if you thought he beat Shakur? That was one of the worst fights ever. I don't want to see either one of those guys again.
Hold on. Why was it one of the worst fights ever?
Bro, they barely threw any punches. That's why.
They was booing them. They was booing the whole fight. They booed
I stopped watching the fight and I went to bed. I ain't gonna lie. I stopped watching it and I went to bed.
So you don't want to see a guy we know who's action packed. We're gonna blame him for Shakur's performance.
I blame them both, and I don't want to see either one of them.
That's nasty, bro.
The person who carries the most impact in the sport always takes more of the blame. Even if it ain't his fault, it take two to dance. But the person who carries more of the sport on their back, they will always take more to blame.
But we can arguably see.
All right, hold on, Tip. I'll put it this way, right? Okay, they were talking about that fight with Shakur Stevenson and Edwin De Los Santos, and the whole thing with Shakur Stevenson was like he was hurt, for this fight against Edwin De Los Santos, right? Okay, let's put this like how you had Mark McSile versus Gary Russell Jr. Gary Russell Jr. was hurt in that fight, but you saw that particular fight was real close in that some people, at least a lot of people that went to the fight, felt like Gary Russell Jr. won. But he was able to do what he needed to do with one hand and made it a competitive fight.
That made it an entertaining fight.
It made an entertaining fight. That whole thing with De Los Santos and Shakur Stevenson, that was what?
Two bums
versus Easter level.
Two bums that I never want to see
Deontay Wilder had a broken arm or a bicep or something. He still knocked Chris Arreola or whoever it was out.
Tore his bicep.
I think it's nasty, bro. We done seen this dude twice. We done seen him put hands on Adorno and seen him put hands on Venezuela.
I was there live seeing Edwin De Los Santos putting hands on Joseph Adorno, and I thought that Edwin De Los Santos would have been able to stop Joseph Adorno, and he didn't stop Joseph Adorno, man.
But he said himself what he was doing was showcasing his boxing skills because people thought he couldn't box. They just labeled him as a puncher.
Showcase your boxing skills in dark matches off TV. I never want to see him again. He doesn't deserve to sniff a big fight.
Don't do that at 12:30 a.m. at night. Don't show your boxing skills at 12:30 a.m. at night when they put a fight on at 1 a.m. 12:30.
Exactly.
So who can Tank fight then? Who can we get Tank to fight next?
Frank Martin. I say Frank Martin.
Oh, there you go.
Frank Martin.
I say Frank.
I never thought of that.
I'm gonna tell you now. De Los Santos outclasses Frank Martin.
Oh my God. Okay.
All right, bro.
Okay.
I don't want to believe it.
Habla español.
Just look at the problems Frank Martin just had with this
Listen,
last
we
dude.
do got to give De Los Santos a chance. I can see where he coming from because
look at
the
problems Frank Martin just had with this last dude, and you gonna tell me that he's not gonna have problems with De Los Santos?
Because look, Shakur did run. Listen, Shakur did run. We got to give him a little. You got to understand where he's coming from a little bit. Shakur
it's up to Edwin De Los Santos to catch him.
And
I saw Paul Butler run from Inoue.
He's more athletic than Frank Martin. He's way more athletic than Frank Martin.
He sucks.
And look, Frank Martin would come forward. Frank Martin would come forward on De Los Santos. That would be a good fight. They would go forward against each other. They would clash. They would keep coming forward.
Would look like how Frank Martin dusted up Michelle Rivera. Okay.
Not only that, even in Frank Martin's last fight, where he was quote unquote struggling, didn't he dog this guy out at the end?
Yep.
So what are we? It's a different level of mentality. Edwin De Los Santos, he ain't no killer. He ain't got it in him.
Bro, when he gets you hurt, he goes for the kill. Like,
bro,
what are we talking?
Everybody does that.
We seen the dude in a fight where he had to show. And
who do that, man? Who do that, MVO?
He showed up.
Anybody's gonna pounce when somebody's hurt.
Bro, and every fight he had to show up in, he showed up.
Except for the last one. His most important fight.
Most important fight.
That's due to his opponent. That's due to his opponent fighting the way he did.
Okay.
And they say Shakur can make it hard. They say Shakur can make it hard trying to get next to him.
Okay.
He
I mean, listen, you go by the next Edwin De Los Santos fight. I will not watch. I
You
will
can't
find
tell me
something to
that
do that
Shakur
day.
fought Frank Martin on that night. That fight
Last
would have
year
been
when
any
he
different.
fought William Foster, what happened there?
Exactly. Listen, Edwin De Los Santos should be fighting on Pro Box or BLK Prime.
Hey, don't try to shit on Pro Boxer. They have some interesting fights.
They do have some good
So
fights.
talking about we gonna kill De Los Santos because
Yes.
Shakur knows that his opponent is way more athletic, or is just athletic as he is, and just
Not
as
athletic enough.
much of a stronger puncher than he is.
Listen,
We gonna kill him because
if he was that athletic,
Shakur himself went and fought the way he did.
but
Because
if he was that
scared
athletic,
he
why
was
he
scared to
couldn't
make
catch up to
contact.
him?
We gonna kill De Los Santos because Shakur was scared to make contact.
Why don't you answer my question?
Come on, bro.
I didn't kill him. They put me to sleep.
If he was just athletic, then why didn't he catch up to him?
Why you think Frank Martin beat Michelle Rivera?
You're not answering my question. If he was just as athletic as Shakur, why didn't he catch up to him?
What do you mean, bro?
He was a younger fight. He was
That's a good question. If he was athletic, why he didn't catch up to
Ain't De
him?
Los Santos like 24?
That's a good question.
Because he's limited with his skills. That's why he didn't catch up with him.
No,
Sorry, MBO.
according to
There
this
you
guy,
go.
he's very skilled and very athletic,
Right.
and a big puncher. But yeah, he couldn't catch up to him.
Right. I got you.
Couldn't close the ring off. Couldn't cut the ring off against Shakur Stevenson. Couldn't land, but what? How many punches against Shakur Stevenson?
Like 39.
But we not going off that. We not going off that copy box, bro. That copy box full of shit.
See, that was your original argument.
That copy box is full of shit. That man threw over 300 punches, and they talking about he only landed 40. All right, bro.
So did Regis.
And he had the most consistent jab the whole night.
Okay, listen. I think we've spent enough time talking about that shitty
I'm killing the guy that's jabbing forward while the other guy going backwards the whole night.
I don't know what else, man. I don't know what else.
Some guys don't deserve to be on TV, and he's one of them.
Where that little kid, Floyd Schofield, what's his name? Who he fight? Where he 135 or 140?
Yeah, he fighting 135.
135. Talking about my nephew.
Floyd Schofield.
Okay. I like him for sure.
He's like number 5 in the WBA rankings on that. He had the win in that Ryan Garcia card. Yeah, he's very good.
Shakur gonna fight the same way against him. He gonna jab and step back 3 times and keep distance.
I think Shorty might cut that ring off on Shakur ass.
It's gonna get to the point where opponents are just gonna have to.
Listen, the fight we need to see with Shakur is Shakur versus Tank, and if he can't make the Tank fight, then we need to see Shakur versus Moritalia.
Why do you want to see that? Like it's like, yo, the man showed you he doesn't want to fight big punches. Like, why would you want to see that if he's just going to do the same thing every time he hops in the ring with a puncher?
Because not everybody is garbage like Edwin De Los Santos.
I'm gonna tell you, I think Tank is going to try to maul him.
There's some guys with actual boxing skill, boxing brain, ring IQ, and athleticism that will catch up to Shakur.
Tank or cut that shit down.
So you don't think so you don't think the ring being the size it wasn't a problem?
Was it a problem for Canelo against Billy Joe
Saunders? If Tank gets in the ring with Shakur, the ring isn't going to be smaller?
Was it a problem for Canelo against Billy Joe Saunders?
How small was the ring versus Billy Joe Saunders?
It was like 22 feet.
22, yeah.
22 feet.
And Billy Joe Saunders ain't even a mover.
What?
What?
Do you watch boxing?
Billy Joe Saunders, compared to Caleb Plant, we talking about
Oh
Billy
my God.
Bro, Caleb Plant's more of a mover than Billy Joe Saunders, bro.
Jesus Christ. I can't.
All right. Let's
listen, listen, we're going into 2024. In 2024, no more talking just because it's free. Come on, man. What are we doing here?
He's free to talk about Keith Thurman, though.
Let me tell y'all, 2024, Keith Thurman, man, we on the way. Hey, Bill Haney, send
Keith
that,
Thurman. The year
send the
Keith
jet,
Thurman.
send the
This the
Jets in the
goddamn.
contract.
This
We
the
waiting.
third year in a row I keep hearing that Keith Thurman coming back. When is Keith Thurman coming?
Hey,
Keith
listen, man,
Thurman,
Al trying to hold us back, bro. Al trying to hold us back. We trying to get in the ring, but Al keep holding us back, man.
my God, Keith Thurman. I tell you.
Well, we wanted Earl. Earl was like, nah, we don't want that smoke no more. We
Okay,
wanted
but what
Bud.
about what was happening when Boots was mentioning Keith Thurman's name?
Hey, listen, bro, we got to keep fighting these young guys in order to get the boots. We not ready for that yet. You know what I'm saying? We need to. We took
Oh, he was
Barrios. We trying to get
supposed
Standy
to
on us.
fight, he was
See,
supposed to
we not
fight.
gonna be like Regis. We not gonna be like Regis and keep fighting these 30-year-olds and then go fight a dude that's like 26. Nah, we give us Barrios, give us Standy on us. You know what I'm saying? Then we gonna fight Boots.
Well,
Who you talking about again?
One the greatest of one time.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God.
I
Oh
mean,
my.
So
just think
I
about
heard.
it. Why would you keep fighting dudes that's 30 years old to compete with these 20-year-olds? Nah, you gotta fight. You gotta fight these young dudes, bro. They gonna keep you in shape.
So they say Bud dropping his belts too.
Well, he gonna
Yeah,
he gonna go up.
yeah, he gonna go up. What's the point, man? I mean, you might as well just fight, Errol Spence at 154.
And go
What's
ahead and finish there. Yep, might as well fight Earl Spence and then fight what's the name maybe for the belt with the Russian.
It's because
Charlo?
the kitchen get it hot. The kitchen get it hot at 147. You know what I'm saying? 154 about to start looking weak.
Yes.
154 gonna look like 140 real soon.
Yeah, I can't even deny that. Crawford is. He's. I ain't gonna call him an opportunist, but he's better than everybody. But it would be nice. We thought the fight was gonna be a better fight, but outside of that, it would be nice to see him fight other fights that, on paper, should be competitive.
Guess
Yeah.
what I called? That's what I called for that fight. Before my prediction the week before that fight on my video, I called a knockout for between round 6 and 9 for Bud. The knockout Spence between 6 and 9, and I won at the casino that night.
Nice.
Earl
Yeah.
always showed me he wasn't ready.
I'm like, he was just like not really, prepared for that fight at all, man. That was just the worst time to lay an egg and the biggest fight of your career. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see what happens here. Like we said, we got that new deal coming up here with Amazon Prime. Actually, I talk about that, man. Like, of course, he had that news PVC on Prime. They get that deal, and we've had a couple of comments in reference to this from some other people. Some like misquoting, saying that it's a distribution deal. I'm like, no, it's not a full distribution deal. They got more things on there for this particular deal than just having it as a distribution deal, especially if you're going to have something like how they say they're going to do PBC Championship Boxing, which is similar to what they did with Showtime Championship Boxing. That can't be nothing like a distribution deal, So I'm looking forward to it. It said they're waiting until March to, start off with it. But I think in the meantime, I feel like it's a great deal for them. One, because you're gonna have what is it about 13? What is it like 13 million or 16 million subscribers to Amazon Prime or something like that?
No,
But
160.
Yeah,
well,
160. Yeah.
160 million. I mean, my bad. 160 million. But I mean, that is like worlds better than what you would have had on Paramount Plus if they would have stuck with Paramount Plus. So their amount of exposure that they have for that, makes it real good for the fighters that would be involved on the Amazon Prime deal. So definitely props to them for them securing that deal because it's a bigger deal for them.
I know Amazon better not do no slick shit like Disney Plus and shit. I'm sorry, I'm eating, but they better not do no slick shit like Disney Plus.
What do you mean?
I don't own Disney Plus, but I'm just saying I heard they kept increasing the price.
Uh,
Why would Amazon Prime increase the price because of boxing?
yeah.
They got the NFL. They would have did it with the NFL.
With the NFL, yeah.
Like people don't understand like the monster that we're dealing with Amazon Prime. They are content monsters. Okay, this this PBC deal for Amazon Prime is just a drop in the bucket to them.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
is
as far as like the overall budget, yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to affect the pricing. What's wrong with you, Mike?
Man,
Yeah,
I told you refer to me as the boxing act. God damn it, you making me choke, nigga. God damn.
See, all's not lost.
Oh shit.
All right, I finished chewing. You refer to me as the boxing academic.
All right. I'm sorry, boxing academic.
Oh shit. Oh man, but yeah,
Thank you, Matt.
That's gonna
Hey,
be
I think that Russian at 154. I can't think. Oh, Tim Zoo. I think he'll be a problem. I think him and Bud. That I don't know. That'll be a serious fight.
That's an easy fight for Bud.
You think so?
He got so many holes in his game. Like he ain't faced the puncher yet. That'll just clip him.
He hasn't faced a consistent puncher like a Bud. Like that last fight that he had, like he was having some issues there in those first few rounds. It was just that dude just couldn't be consistent with that attack on him. So that's how Tim Tszyu was able to get back in the fight and just eventually take over in that. But like with the guy like Crawford with his level of accuracy, man, he'll beat up Tim Tszyu in that case.
Yeah.
How much money would Bud make on that fight?
It would be in Vegas.
8 figures. 8
Yeah,
figures.
it'll be 8 figures, but it'll be in Vegas. Tim Tszyu
It'll
said
be big.
he'll fight
It'll be
there.
a big fight. That'll be a good fight. I would really be interested in watching that.
Like Tim Tszyu will be more interested in having a fight against Terrence Crawford than against Jamel Charlo. I mean, that's much more money for him. So he'd rather go for that. But in the meantime, he's probably gonna try to get it in a fight with Erickson Lubin. They're talking about him fighting Erickson Lubin next. So
yep, all of this to be seen on Amazon Prime.
Right.
That's a joke. Lubin, that's a joke.
I mean, it's a joke, but at least it's not Indongo,
Yeah, you're right. It ain't Indongo. You're right.
Yeah. So
at least Lubin will try to throw. He gonna get caught in between the shot and get knocked out, but at least he will try though.
I always like Lubin too, man. It's sad the shit how he be getting. Damn, man. But he got a lot of heart. He a good fighter. He just
he should be thankful that he doesn't have to rematch Jesus Ramos. Because in the second fight, he's gonna lose.
I know.
Jesus Ramos should have took advantage of the fight in that first round, because like Ramos just was following Lubin for the majority of the fight, but a lot of times he didn't really punch until like Lubin was on the ropes. So that one he I felt like he blew that fight, because that one, like a lot of people favor Ramos to win that fight, and he just just let Lubin get off with offense and just box and move.
Now, what is all you guys' thoughts on the Amazon deal?
Shit, I ain't really got none. You know what I'm saying? They just had another platform.
If it make it more accessible, then why not?
I don't think that's the only one that they're working on.
Yeah, I think they're gonna. Well, they said they only got 12 to 14 events for this, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Let
so
me ask you though: Is it gonna come with a lot of cross the street talk, or you think we're gonna be able to?
Who knows? I think they might be looking for another TV deal on the side, like something.
That's the only problem that we really got in boxing. I could give a fuck. Well, I don't care where none of them go at, or where they, all the new platforms they set up. We just really want to see them fight each other when it comes time to fight. If one of them on Dazzin or Top Rank or whatever, and we want to see the fight. That's really what the big problem is. What's going on right now?
Hey,
Well, you ain't got to worry about that with PBC, because Al Heyman routinely sends his fighters to other platforms to fight.
You want to know what I really want to see?
Yeah, that's
even
why
though I know nobody don't care.
Have a problem doing it for big fights. Yeah, go ahead.
You want to know what I really want to see, even though I know nobody really care. I'm saving. I said that so MVO doesn't throw that out there and try to embarrass me. Right. I just want to see Terrence Crawford in a fight to where he has to show us something different, other than just him outclassing the person. That's really what I want to see.
Keith
I want to
Thurman.
see. Say it again.
Keith Thurman.
Nah, he'll
Maybe
beat
Keith
the hell out
Thurman.
of Keith Thurman.
I'm telling you, that's the fight.
Listen,
That's the fight.
The
He
fight
might
for
stop him
Terrence
with a body
Crawford,
shot, but
Boots.
The fight for Terrence Crawford is Canelo Alvarez.
Come
That's
on,
the
man.
fight.
That's not no fucking fight.
See,
All
that,
right.
I don't want, hey, Envy, I don't want that, man. Don't do that. You talking about that 168 T? No, I
Yeah.
ain't trying to do that shit. No, man, don't put my
Hey,
boy up.
but remember, this is the same
No.
guy like MVO. Like I
No.
said, he wants big events, and
Yeah.
according to him, the biggest event that could be made out here right now is Canelo Alvarez versus Terrence Crawford.
Yes,
Yep.
that
if
is a
Floyd
big.
could
Yes,
outbox
that
him,
is a big
why couldn't
event.
Terrence Crawford?
That's a major event, but still, if I'm sitting by Bud right now and we close and I can talk to him, I'm telling him, yo, this big event, but no, don't do that shit. No.
If
Why
Floyd could
not?
outbox him, why not Terrence Crawford? If Floyd could
Not
do
at
it,
one,
Oh, I
not
know
at
Crawford can
not
outbox
at
him. That's why I don't
168.
want to see it because I know how
Not
the
at
fight is gonna
160.
play out.
Is Canelo gonna come down to 160? He
No.
gonna
Canelo not
come
coming
down to
down.
160?
He's not
Nope.
coming down.
All right, then no. Hell no. No.
Like we all know how Canelo versus Crawford is gonna go. That's why nobody wants to see that
Yeah,
fight.
Crawford's gonna beat him.
Right, it's gonna be Mayweather all over again. Nobody wants to see that shit. Get in a fight that's gonna push you. You know what I'm saying?
that's what I want to
All right,
see.
now let's say that what you just said is okay. That could pop off and happen, but if he American him, what would
Tank
you
is
say?
a 135-pound fighter. Crawford
I'm
is a
just saying.
150-pound
What would
fighter.
you say though if he American Crawford? What would you say though? Would you say it was cool? He still should have tried. Would you say so what? Would you still say big ups to Crawford or whatever? Would you still
I,
feel the same way?
I don't think he's gonna American Crawford at all. I don't even remotely see that
All right.
happening. I don't. Sorry.
Yeah, Amir Khan, like,
Okay.
when he like breathing out his mouth and he was like real tired when that happened too.
Probably
Yo,
could have been. I don't know.
Canelo is that counter killer. I fucks with Bud. That's my guy. But Canelo that counter killer. So I'm not promoting that. I'm saying that ain't good. I'm telling
I
you.
think you got the old Canelo in your head. Canelo, just because he beat this Charlo, that's a good win, but it's a Pyrrhic victory. It is a mirage.
And then
Terrence Crawford outbox him
Hey,
easily.
but Canelo said after that fight, he said nobody beats this Canelo.
man, all right. And then another thing with Crawford is right. What Canelo and Crawford is right. Canelo is not. Well, look, Canelo's not. He's not great on his feet. You need a fighter that's great on his feet in order to face a dude like Terrence Crawford. Not a dude who's just going to be standing there right in front of you like Canelo's going to be. Canelo's just going to be standing in front of him. He can't move his legs.
Oh yeah, Canelo is going to be in that fight. I see it right now. I'm looking at it. Yes, Canelo is walking forward. He is walking forward. Definitely, he's going to be in front of him.
And
But just because he walked forward don't mean he's gonna get close to him.
Yes, he is.
It's going to be one of those fights where Canelo would just walk him down, put him on the ropes. We're going to see Crawford, you know what I'm saying, doing what he's supposed to do, and that shoulder roll everything. While Canelo's just throwing arm punches, and he's going to get counted the whole night. We know how this fight's going to play out.
Well, apparently, this Bud Crawford fan think that Crawford gonna get smoked. I don't see it. I think Crawford gonna beat him.
Crawford definitely wins. It'll be the same sort of like heist that Floyd Mayweather pulled on people when people actually thought Conor McGregor could win. It'll be very
Look,
similar.
that's the fight. You know what? Like you just said, this Crawford fan is not feeling him. That's what he would. This is a Crawford fan. When he would do an Ali, he would shake up the world. He would shake up my world. Like Ali said, he shook up the world. He would shake up my world that night. Right when he beat Canelo
The
at
thing
160.
is with folks was talking about the comparison with Mayweather and Canelo. The thing with Floyd Mayweather was like an anomaly as far as like his like height and reach. Like he had like a long reach, given his height. You could say the same thing with Terrence Crawford. And
I was about to say
the same height, but Terrence Crawford has a reach of 74. Canelo has a reach of 70, and moves better. And he moves better than Canelo does.
And
So
he got enough power to keep Canelo honest, like not super honest, but honest enough. Honest like Mayweather
yeah,
kept
but
him
he ain't
honest.
getting no, he ain't draining them. He ain't getting no weight off like Floyd got weight off of him. He got him to come down to 152. We forgot. We can't skip that.
Yeah, but
It's a lot of. It's
I
just
mean, we're
you
still
saying
talking
give him
about
just.
a Canelo that's 64 fights in, man. He's been a pro
And he's
for
slower.
yeah.
And he ain't hitting them miles like he used to. He's sleeping in silk pajamas.
When you look at it the way I'm looking, like if we talking about it the way we talking about, I don't think Canelo has improved.
I don't think so either.
I don't think he's improved.
I don't think
I
so
think.
either.
I think he very dangerous. I think he have a chin. He got a good chin, and if he catch you right, and he is still a good counter puncher. I would not. I'm telling you. I don't see why you can't. Why couldn't we just satisfyingly let Bud just go out at 154 like we were saying? Why he can't just do 154 and try to go undisputed? Why
Because
can't
we
we let
want
him
to see
try that?
big events. We want events where the hoes come out.
Yo, just Jamel and him is the biggest thing. MVO, listen, MVO, Jamel and Crawford is a big event. That's big. The
Nah,
Nah,
biggest thing.
Jamel
That's
fucked that up.
I don't
Jamel
need to
fucked
see
that up.
Jamel on my TV ever again.
Yeah,
Put
yeah.
him,
Jamel
Jamel fucked that
really
up.
hurt his stock. He
Yeah,
definitely hurt his stock.
put him with
it could have
Armadillo
been Houston, Atlanta,
Santos.
Vegas, man, but Jamel fucked that up.
Oh, he said put Jamel in there.
Put him in with Jamal. At least we know Jamal will throw punches.
No, that's a fact.
Exactly.
That's a
Yeah, he
fact.
would. Yeah, he would
That's a
throw
fact.
punches.
I would
That's
rather
true.
see that fight. I think Jamal would at least push him. Crawford would win.
Who you talking about, Jamal and Turn and Bud? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yes.
I would have. Matter of fact, I would have. I would have Maul. I would have a little bit more faith in Maul. You know what I'm saying? To at least come close to beating Crawford in that fight. If I'm being honest,
I
More
would
than
too. I would
Canelo?
say the same thing. I could feel you on
I
that.
think Maul always been a better boxer.
Oh,
Yep.
well, better than Jamel, yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
always been a better
yeah,
boxer. So
yeah. He definitely better than Jamel.
yeah, I wouldn't mind that fight. I wouldn't mind that fight.
And that'll be what we would see to push for Crawford to take it to another level. And then he will have. I mean, Crawford is the man. Nobody can't take that away from him. He the man. But shit, he was always favored in every fight.
That's because he's that good.
That's true. But I want
Yeah,
to see him take it to another level. What was Floyd's
Canelo.
fight where he had to do that? Don't did you
Okay.
just say Canelo?
Wait, hold on. Okay. If y'all say that he could beat Canelo, right? And Canelo's at 168. What about if Crawford fought Benavidez at
he's gonna get
168?
murdered.
I mean, why would he?
He's gonna get murdered.
That's a different story. That's
He's gonna
like
get murdered.
why do yourself like that? Weight
Yo,
classes for reasons.
they try to get my guy killed.
Yeah.
Even he
That's the
said no
thing.
to that.
That's
He said
that's
no to
why I
that.
don't want to see Canelo. Because it's like, yo, if Crawford gonna
Like,
move up and fight Canelo, I'm like, you're not gonna fight Benavidez, so what does it matter? Like we already think Benavidez is gonna beat Canelo anyway. So I mean, it's like, bro,
What does it matter to become undisputed champion at 168?
yeah, but it's
Man,
like, are you
hear
really
these
fighting the best guy?
exactly. He's doing the same thing that he did at 140 and all that stuff. Like he fighting people, but it's just like he's doing the same thing Canelo did. He ain't fighting the best guy.
He's fighting the biggest attraction.
Yeah, but we want the best guy. The
Well,
best guy. Fuck the
well
big
then
attraction. We want the best guy.
fucking
Give us the
UFC or
best fight.
something. I want to see big events.
Give us the danger. We want the danger.
I want danger, Matt.
I want Crawford versus Boots. That's what that's what I want.
Right.
I don't think that's realistic, so I don't have no faith in that. So
Yeah, I don't have much faith in that either. But I mean,
You think that that fight ends up being what's the old boy who beat Bernard Hopkins? You think
Jermaine Taylor.
Jermaine Taylor? Yeah. You think that could be a Jermaine Taylor type fight for Crawford?
what with Boots?
Yeah.
No, that would be a really competitive fight where someone's going to get hurt.
Who?
like seriously hurt. One or the other, someone's getting hurt. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that it would be something where it's like with Bernard Hopkins, like Bernard Hopkins tried to make it a rough and tough, sloppy type of a fight in a sense. They ain't gonna do that here with Boots and Crawford. Nah, you
I
gonna
honestly think Boots got more work to do before he takes all the tricks that's in Crawford's bag. I think Crawford got just too many tricks right now.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
got
think
Crawford beating him up too.
he gotta beat like a Keith Thurman after he get another belt or something. Like then I would know that he's ready for it.
Right. Yeah.
uh,
I
Yeah,
got Crawford beating
y'all
him
won't
up
see that
too.
anytime soon, but y'all
Yeah,
keep
I don't think
wishing.
I'll see that either. Yeah, that ain't gonna happen.
anytime see either. You know what I'm saying?
But if
Uh,
not Keith Thurman, then who could let us know that Boots is ready for Crawford?
the
Because
only thing I
Errol
look
ain't gonna fight him.
at is standing on this at 147 right now. Standing on this. That's
Yeah,
it.
but we finna take care of that. So man, throw that out the window. We finna take care of that. Shit, man.
Okay, so all right. So then, how about this then? So you can have Thurman versus Stanionis. You can have Boots there versus Barrios. Boots will take care of business, and if you say Thurman takes care of business against Stanionis, then there you go. Boots
Yep.
versus Thurman. How about
I
that?
like that. I like that right there. Hell yeah.
You
That's a
know.
nice little setup.
Yeah, but
So
no, I would need no. See, I would need two. I need Keith to get two tune-ups, bro. It's mandatory that Keith gets two tune-ups before fighting Boots. And I'm gonna tell you why. After he fought Jose Cito Lopez, he still showed ring rust against Manny Pacquiao. And I know my fighter. I know my fighter. All right. I trained
Damn,
this
we
guy.
gotta give him two fights though.
I gotta
He
give him
gotta
two
be.
fights tops,
It
bro.
takes so long, but he already be out so long,
Exactly
man.
my point. So you gotta let him get the juices flowing again. One fight ain't gonna do it. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, he's been out for what it's gonna be about 2 years or something.
Just
Yeah,
about.
it's gonna be 2 years. Damn.
Hey, let that
I'm
man be
saying.
in
Damn,
I'm
love,
saying.
man.
man.
Let
Gotta
that
give him
man be
two.
happy and in love.
They trying to make my boy look like Shane Mosley.
Man, but yeah, I don't know, man. He's gonna have to do something because having these 2 year and 3 year layoffs, man, that ain't gonna cut it, man. Ain't
Oh
Not.
man.
you know.
Oh, white man paperwork. I got to fight for you. I know you're gonna like this one. What do you think about Robert Guerrero and Andre Berto coming back fighting on the
Oh, that's a
Showtime
lose
Oh,
card?
lose sound match, man. Come on now. Come on, that's lose lose sound match. We already had Guerrero versus Ortiz, and that should have been it. So this should be a retirement match. The loser
they having
has
all these goddamn senior citizen matches.
type of
God damn it.
can't be in any type of sanctioned fight ever in life. Okay, whoever loses that can't be in no other fight.
The
Done.
thing is, Guerrero don't need to be fighting no way because if I remember him, his last few fights, he started to look like he had onsets of like CTE and stuff. He didn't look good.
Was that
Mm-hmm.
the same fight that Andre Berto he tore his rotator cuff? Was that it? What fight was it that Berto got injured in?
It might have been that fight.
I think it was that fight because then Berto came back 2 fights later, and then
That
he ended
tall,
up getting
some
that
I
Mayweather fight.
forgot that tall white
Yeah,
boy beat him up real bad.
yeah. So, but yeah, I don't understand how they having this rematch all these years later. Like, man,
Oh,
their
that's a
last
real
They
fight.
just want to
Yeah,
be on
it's
the
gonna be on the
scene
yeah,
now
Showtime
because
card.
yeah, that's the
you
that's
know
the
what?
rematch
All the
from
young
11
kids
years.
getting all the shine, and they want to be on the scene and shit, and get in the middle of what's going on. Because all the little everything we seeing in boxing now, we good, but they want to come back and get in for some reason. I don't know.
Look, don't be surprised if we get Tim Bradley versus Sean Porter.
All right.
no, no, unless if it's an exhibition fight, like I
I
don't.
still haven't watched that guy fight yet. That do them exhibitions. What's his name? Jake Paul or whatever.
Oh, the Jake
I
Paul
haven't
joint.
seen
They
one fight
supposed
of
to have
him
this
yet.
joint
I hear
coming up
about
next.
him, but I don't never watch
Oh,
him
he fights
fight.
on Friday. Jake Paul fights on
Yep.
Friday.
Yeah, he
Oh,
fights
he
Friday.
did.
Yeah,
Well,
he
Yep.
this gonna be the first time I'm gonna see him fight if he fighting on the same card.
uh-huh.
Who he
Shadasia.
fighting this time?
He fighting some dude from Florida, I think.
An MMA person?
No, he's an actual boxer. He trying to transition his career now, so he fighting a professional fighter. It's gonna be
Oh, so
on his
he
own
going to real
pay-per-view.
boxing now. He going to be a real boxer now.
Yeah, that's his goal.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right. Well, now I'll watch him then. Oh, all right.
And then Shadeja on the undercard.
August. Yeah, Shadeja Green versus Franchon Cruz is on that undercard. And I know that MPO don't care about that.
What's the dude name?
His
Franchon
name
Cruz.
No, dude. Andre August is gonna be Jake Paul's opponent, man. That's the name. So that's who you look up.
I think he like 13-2 or something.
Something like that. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, what he fight at cruiserweight?
I think so.
Let me
Let's look
see.
about
Yeah,
Jake Paul.
cruiserweight.
Jake
It's
fights right.
cruiserweight.
And I just guessed that looking at Jake Paul, thinking he probably would fight a cruiserweight or a light heavyweight.
Yeah, it's a cruiserweight. He's 10-1-1. So, and he had a fight like 4 months ago. So, hey, I guess he's looking to try to be a competitor or something. He's there at 30, but Andre August is like 35 years old though. So I don't know what to make of that.
Well, I
but
guess
with
he
that
need that
being
warm-up fight. That's a good
Yeah.
warm-up to get
We'll
him in.
see. But with that being said, it's about 2 hours in on this live podcast. I'm gonna bring this to a close. Didn't quite get to what happened with Robeisy Ramirez dropping the bag, losing a fight. He could have fought Naoya Inoue, but he got outpointed in what I say is a fight of the year candidate there against Rafael Espinoza. But but if y'all didn't see that fight live, if y'all have ESPN Plus, y'all could go back.
I gotta go back and watch it.
That was a very good scrap. Espinoza got off the canvas in the 5th round and then was able to score that knockdown in the 12th round. That pretty much was, ended up being like the difference there in that fight. But with that being said, I'd like to thank everyone that's joined in live, the Boxer Academic, Tip Bayless, MVO, and my guy newcomer coming in here, man. Y'all check him out, Sports Predictions 101 here on YouTube. And y'all be sure to subscribe here to the Boxing Source. And if y'all haven't done so already, y'all hit the like button here for this video if you like the content. And we'll have more for you here on the Boxing Source. And like I said at the end of every show, point of boxing is to hit and not get hit, not to send the trade. On that note, folks, I'm out. Have a good evening, everybody.
All right,